back at home, playing some East Division opponents, especially some competitive opponents. What's the scouting report on Charlotte for tomorrow and Old Dominion Saturday?
Well, we're excited just to get back in Diddle. I feel like that this team's exciting. These girls play hard. They play a fun style basketball. They score. They press. They share the ball, and it's fun for our fans. But we've been a little bit snake bit by some bad weather, and I think we might even have some weather coming in for tomorrow. So the game might be moved up. I think they're trying to. It's being monitored, so I think they're talking about moving the game up. But we're excited to get back and play in front of our fans. All the games at this point are huge. It's kind of everybody battling for a foothold in first, second, third, wherever that lands. So Charlotte's one of the preseason favorites. They probably got as much talent or more talent than anybody else with experience returning. Octavia Jet Wilson, Jalen Mill, both super players, both first team all conference caliber type players. So we've got our work cut out for us to against Charlotte.
Yeah, you mentioned it's 4 teams right now in the East right here together, and 2 of these are coming here for you guys this weekend. Certainly a big weekend for you guys from that standpoint.
Right, it's a huge weekend, and every weekend from this point forward is huge. And these 2 teams are both the 2 most experienced teams in Charlotte and Old Dominion, and so we'll have our hands full just being able to compete with them. But our girls are ready for that challenge. They've learned a lot through playing at home and on the road, and I think they're ready for this.
Tough road trip, kind of.
Right.
What happened there as far as those 2 games, and then what do you think you guys have learned from this going forward for your players?
Well, one of the things that I love about this team is they share the ball. I mean, at one point, I'm not sure, I didn't check yesterday, but I think we're leading the conference in scoring. We were also leading the conference in 3-point field goal percentage and in assist and in steals, and that's a team that plays hard on both ends of the floor and shares the ball. And so when we got to UAB, we didn't have those assists that we needed, and so we've got to get back to making sure that ball moves more freely and keep it, and then we've got to get some more steals. We got to get that ball out in the open court a little bit more. That's what we were good at, and we didn't get enough of those.
This young team, I know Merrill's will say they're not young, but this young team had all the success that they've had so far in conference. How much do you think now is another test for them to see how they rebound from a disappointing weekend like that?
Well, and that's the learning curve. That's some maturity. Sometimes you get your lessons through tough knocks, and so that's where we are right now. And so they kind of got rocked back. I was proud of how they fought back in both games. Fought back and took the lead at Middle Tennessee, but then shot ourselves in the foot a little bit with some miscues. But they'll come back and be ready. They've practiced hard. This is a resilient bunch. They've been resilient, not just game by game, but within the game. They've been resilient. So I think they'll be ready to go.
I know Charlotte is next, and you've talked about them, but what about Old Dominion that before, obviously, completely scouting them?
Well, normally I would say very little to nothing, but because they've got so many players returning in Asia Wayne, and I know that they've got the transfer young lady from FAU in Iggy Allen, who's a tremendous scorer, and they're one of the best defensive teams in the conference. Both these 2 teams are 2 of the best defensive teams in the conference. So we're going to have to make sure we move the ball. We're going to make sure we play great defense, and we're going to have to do a better job on the boards than we've done.
And you got to mention the East. I mean, these are 2 teams you're going to see a lot because you're going to see them on the road here again in a few weeks.
Yeah, we're going to play this weekend, and then we've got 2 more games, and then we're going to see them again in about 2 more weeks. So we're going to. These teams, these next few games are going to decide a lot in the standings in this side of the conference.
Obviously, Coach, nobody ever wants to lose a game, but when you look at those last 2 losses you had, how much can you at least appreciate that, despite the 7-0 start that everyone's excited about, there's still a lot of work to be done? How much of a wake-up call did you guys need from that, those 2 games?
Well, I think the part that was the most obvious, but there's certain things that we've got to do well to win. And we can do 2 or 3 of those things and be okay. We can't do 0. And so those are things that we talked about, things that we looked at that we've got to make sure that we focus on. And we've got to do what we do well. And then there's some areas that we got to continue to work on, like we talked about the rebounding and making free throws and taking care of the ball. Those are some things that we got to work on. But there's other things that we can do. We've been winning despite still turning the ball over, despite not making free throws or maybe always out rebounding our opponents. So there's things that we can do to still win, and we got to make sure we do those.
Coach, how do you keep a positive mentality after? I mean, obviously it's 2 losses on the road. You guys are still doing pretty good at home, but going back into the locker room, how do you keep the confidence after 2 road losses?
That's a reflection on these young ladies. They're ready to go, and I don't think that it's anything that that I say, anything that I do, I think they're just ready to play again, and they're ready to prove that they're a good ball team. And I think we've got a good group of young ladies, and they're ready just to compete. So there's no other real choice there. I mean, you just got to come back and regroup, put shoes on, lace them up, go to work.
Coach, we're heading into the end of the season, and there's a lot of games, of course, coming in now. How have the spirits been, and have you felt any fatigue from the rest of the year?
Well, the spirits are good. What we're trying to, I guess, manage or try to prepare for is we've got a young team, and this is more games, more competition, more intensity than they're used to playing. We don't have a whole lot of seniors and juniors that have been down this road before, and so we're trying to manage that just from an energy standpoint, mental and physical energy, and making sure we're ready to give our best effort every time we get on the court.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.